Today, I'm going to talk about the benefits of a post-money society and how it might happen. Howdy, I'm just some random nude dude sitting in my closet talking to myself. It's also where I celebrate the power of free thinking and encourage bold ideas. As a society, we're often afraid to challenge the norms and think outside the box. But here, I embrace the unconventional. So sit back, relax, and join me on this journey of exploration, where we embrace our own inner nude dude and push boundaries to discover new perspectives. For centuries, money has been the backbone of our economy. We use it to buy and sell goods and services, to invest in businesses and properties, and to accumulate wealth. But over time, people have become increasingly critical of the role that money plays in our society. Many believe that our current economic system is fundamentally flawed. They argue that it fosters inequality, encourages greed and consumerism, and contributes to environmental degradation. They point to the widening wealth gap, the rise of consumer debt, and the increasing levels of carbon emissions as evidence that our current system is not sustainable. In response to these challenges, some people have started to explore the idea of a post-money society, a world without money, where people would not use currency as a means of exchange, but instead they would rely on other ways to obtain the things they need. This might seem like a radical idea, but it's not without precedent. Throughout history, there have been many societies that have operated without money. For example, many indigenous cultures have used the gift economy, where goods and services are exchanged based on social relationships rather than monetary value. So, in this video, I'll explore the benefits of a post-money society and the ways which it might come about. We'll also discuss the challenges we would need to overcome in order to create such a society. So, let's dive in. Money is a fundamental part of our current economic system, but it has its limitations. The pursuit of wealth often takes precedence over other values, leading to inequality, environmental degradation, and the lack of creativity and innovation. However, some argue that a post-money society, where goods and services are distributed based on need rather than purchasing power, could address these issues and offer a more equitable and sustainable and innovative future. Today we'll explore the benefits of a post-money society and how it could be achieved. We'll examine how such a society could lead to a more equitable distribution of resources, reduce environmental degradation, and encourage creativity and innovation. While creating a post-money society may pose significant challenges, the potential benefits are compelling and could offer a better future for all. One of the most compelling arguments in favor of a post-money society is that it could lead to a more equitable society. In our current system, money is used as a measure of value and a means of exchange. It determines who has access to resources and who doesn't. This has led to a significant wealth gap, with a small percentage of the population owning a disproportionate amount of the world's resources. In a post-money society, everyone would have access to the same resources, regardless of their income or social status. This could lead to a more cohesive society, where everyone has an equal opportunity to succeed. People could focus on their talents, skills, and passions, rather than on their ability to accumulate wealth. They could work to improve their communities, pursue meaningful projects, and contribute to society in ways that align with their values and interests. A post-money society could also eliminate the power dynamics that are inherent in our current economic system. Those who have more money have more power, which can lead to exploitation and abuse. Without money, there would be no financial incentives to exploit others, and everyone would have an equal say in the decision-making process. However, it's important to note that creating a post-money society would require a significant shift in our cultural and social norms. Our current system is deeply ingrained in our society, and it would take time and effort to create a new system that values equity and fairness. Additionally, there would need to be mechanisms in place to ensure that resources are distributed fairly and everyone has access to the same opportunities. Despite these challenges, the idea of a more equitable society is a compelling one. By eliminating the wealth gap and creating a more level playing field, a post-money society could be a significant step forward in creating a more just and fair world. Another benefit of a post-money society is that it could help reduce environmental degradation. Our current economic system is based on constant growth and consumption, which puts a strain on natural resources and contributes to climate change. The production and consumption of goods and services requires energy and natural resources, which are often extracted at the expense of the environment. In a post-money society, the emphasis would be on meeting people's needs rather than on constant growth and consumption. People would only produce and consume what they need, and there would be less pressure to constantly acquire more possessions or accumulate wealth. This could lead to a more sustainable way of living, where people consume fewer resources and generate less waste. Without the constant pressure to produce and consume more, we could focus on creating a circular economy, where resources are reused and recycled rather than discarded. This could significantly reduce the amount of waste we generate and help us move towards a more sustainable future. Furthermore, a post-money society could also reduce the carbon emissions associated with our current economic system. The production and transportation of goods and services require significant amounts of energy, which often come from fossil fuels. Without the constant demand for new products and services, we could significantly reduce the amount of energy we consume and the associated carbon emissions. However, it's important to note that creating a post-money society that is environmentally sustainable would require significant changes to our lifestyles and consumption patterns. We would need to shift towards a more minimalist and sustainable way of living, where we prioritize the things that matter most and reduce our impact on the environment. Despite these challenges, the idea of a more sustainable and environmentally friendly society is a compelling one. By reducing our consumption and waste, we could help protect the planet and ensure a better future for generations to come. Another benefit of a post-money society is that it could lead to a more creative and innovative society. In our current system, people often work to accumulate wealth and pursue careers that offer financial security rather than pursuing their passions and interests. This can stifle creativity and limit innovation, as people are often working within the constraints of a monetary system. In a post-money society, people would be free to pursue their interests and passions without the constraints of financial pressures. This could lead to a society where people are more creative and innovative, where new ideas and solutions are encouraged and celebrated. Without the need to accumulate wealth, people could work on projects that align with their values and interests rather than working solely for financial gain. This could lead to the development of new technologies, artistic expressions, and social innovations that could significantly improve our quality of life. Furthermore, a post-money society could encourage collaboration and cooperation as people work together to achieve common goals rather than competing for financial gain. This could lead to the development of new ideas and solutions that would have not been possible under our current economic system. However, it's important to note that creating a post-money society that values creativity and innovation would require a significant shift in our cultural and social norms. We would need to place greater emphasis on individual interests and passions and encourage collaboration and cooperation. We would also need to provide resources and support for people to pursue their interests and develop their skills. Despite these challenges, the idea of a more creative and innovative society is a compelling one. By valuing creativity and innovation over financial gain, we could unlock new potential and achieve breakthroughs that could significantly improve our world. While the idea of a post-money society may seem far-fetched, it's important to consider how such a society could come about. There are several possible paths towards a post-money society, ranging from small-scale experiments to large-scale social and economic changes. In this section, we will explore some of the ways in which a post-money society could be realized and the challenges and opportunities that come with them. While creating a post-money society is no easy task, exploring these possibilities can help us envision a more equitable and sustainable future. One potential path towards a post-money society is through the rise of the sharing economy. The sharing economy refers to the trend of people sharing resources and services rather than buying or owning them outright. This could involve sharing goods like tools, vehicles, or housing, or sharing services like ride-sharing or food delivery. The sharing economy is already happening to some extent, with platforms like Airbnb, Uber, and TaskRabbit facilitating peer-to-peer sharing. However, a true post-money society would require a much greater shift toward sharing and away from individual ownership and consumption. One advantage of the sharing economy is that it can reduce waste and resource consumption. By sharing goods and services, we can make more efficient use of the resources we have, reducing our impact on the environment. Sharing can also lead to stronger communities, as people work together and rely on each other for resources and services. However, the sharing economy is not without its challenges. For one, it can be difficult to ensure that resources and services are distributed equitably. Those who have more to offer or are more connected to sharing networks may benefit more from the system than those who are less connected or have less to offer. Additionally, some may be resistant to the idea of sharing, particularly if they feel that they are giving up something of value or not receiving adequate compensation for their contributions. To move towards a post-money society through a sharing economy, we would need to address these challenges and ensure that sharing is accessible and equitable for all. We would also need to create systems of trust and accountability to ensure that resources and services are being used responsibly and that all participants are benefiting fairly. Finally, we would need to work towards creating a culture that values sharing and collaboration over individual ownership and consumption. Another potential path towards a post-money society is through the development of new technologies that enable more efficient and equitable distribution of resources. One example of such a technology is blockchain, a digital ledger system that enables secure and transparent transactions without the need for a central authority. Blockchain technology could enable the creation of decentralized marketplaces, where goods and services are exchanged based on need rather than purchasing power. This could help to reduce the wealth inequality and create a more equitable society. For example, a blockchain-based platform could allow individuals to exchange goods and services with each other directly, without the need for intermediaries like banks or corporations. Another technology that could contribute to the post-money society is 3D printing. With 3D printing, individuals can create their own goods at home rather than relying on corporations to produce and distribute goods. This could reduce the environmental impact of manufacturing and distribution and allow more individual autonomy in the creation and use of goods. However, the development of new technologies is not without its challenges. One concern with blockchain technology is that it could exacerbate existing power imbalances, with those who are already wealthy and powerful gaining more control over the system. Additionally, the development and adoption of new technologies can be slow and costly, and it may take time for them to become widely accessible and usable. A post-money society has the potential to bring about numerous benefits, including a more equitable society where everyone has access to resources they need to live a dignified life. Reduced environmental degradation, as individuals and communities are incentivized to prioritize sustainability over profit. A more creative and innovative society, where individuals are free to pursue their passions and interests without the constraints of the market. Greater social cohesion and community building, as individuals are encouraged to share resources and support each other. While there will undoubtedly be challenges in transitioning to a post-money society, the potential benefits make it a compelling vision for the future. By working together and staying committed to our shared vision of a more equitable, sustainable, and just future, we can create a world that works for everyone. To move towards a post-money society through the development of new technologies, we would need to address these challenges and ensure that the benefits of new technologies are accessible and equitable for all. We would also need to create systems of trust and accountability to ensure that these technologies are being used in responsible and ethical ways. Finally, we would need to work towards creating a culture that values innovation and creativity, and that prioritizes the collective good over individual gain. Moving towards a post-money society would undoubtedly bring about a wide range of benefits, but it would also be accompanied by significant challenges. Here are some of the main challenges we would need to overcome. Changing cultural norms. Moving towards a post-money society would require a fundamental shift in how we think about and value material possessions and individual gains. Our current cultural norms prioritize individualism, competition, and consumerism, which are all deeply embedded in our economic system. In a post-money society, we would need to create a culture that prioritizes the collective good over individual gain, and that values sharing and collaboration over ownership and consumption. One potential way to begin this cultural shift is through education and awareness-raising campaigns. By teaching people about the benefits of a post-money society and highlighting the problems with our current economic systems, we can begin to shift cultural attitudes and values. This could involve promoting alternative economic models, such as gift economies, where resources are shared and exchanged based on trust and reciprocity rather than monetary value. Another potential way to change cultural norms is through community organizing and activism. Grassroots movements that advocate for social and economic justice can help to build a sense of collective purpose and create momentum for change. These movements can also create opportunities for people to come together, share resources, and collaborate on common goals, helping to foster a culture of sharing and cooperation. Ultimately, changing cultural norms will be a long-term process that will require collective effort of many individuals and communities. However, by working together and staying committed to our shared vision of a more equitable and sustainable future, we can begin to shift cultural attitudes and values and build a world that prioritizes the collective good over individual gain. Addressing power imbalances. Moving towards a post-money society would require addressing existing power imbalances that are inherent in our current economic system. In our current system, wealth and resources are concentrated in the hands of a few, while many others struggle to make ends meet. This concentration of wealth and power perpetuates existing social inequalities and can make it difficult for marginalized communities to access the resources they need to thrive. To address power imbalances, we would need to create new systems of exchange that prioritize equity and access to resources. This could involve redistributing wealth and resources through mechanisms such as progressive taxation or universal basic income. It could also involve creating new forms of governance that are more participatory and inclusive, giving marginalized communities a greater say in how their resources are distributed and allocated. Another way to address power imbalances is through community-based approaches to resource management. By working together to collectively manage resources such as land, water, and energy, communities can create more equitable systems of resource distribution that prioritize the needs of all members. This could involve creating community land trusts, worker-owned cooperatives, or community-based energy systems. It's important to note that addressing power imbalances will require a commitment to challenging existing structures of power and privilege. This may involve challenging the power dynamics within our own communities, as well as at the larger societal levels. It will also require a willingness to listen to and center the voices of marginalized communities in the decision-making process. By addressing power imbalances and creating new systems of exchange that prioritize equity and access to resources, we can work towards creating a more just and equitable post-money society. This will require a collective effort from many individuals and communities, as well as a commitment to centering the needs and voices of marginalized communities. Creating new systems of exchange. Moving towards a post-money society would require creating new systems of exchange that prioritize equity, sustainability, and community well-being over profit and individual gain. These new systems could take many forms, from gift economies to resource-based economies to time-based economies. One potential way to create new systems of exchange is through community currencies. Community currencies are alternative currencies that are designed to promote local economic development, social equity, and environmental sustainability. They operate alongside national currencies and can be used to buy and sell goods and services within a specific geographic area. Community currencies can help to keep resources within a local economy, build community resilience, and promote equitable access to resources. Another potential way to create new systems of exchange is through time-based economies. Time-based economies measure value in terms of time rather than money, allowing people to exchange services and resources based on the amount of time they contribute rather than their monetary value. This can help to promote a more equitable distribution of resources, as everyone's time is considered equally valuable. Finally, creating new systems of exchange will require a commitment to sustainability and the well-being of future generations. This could involve transitioning to renewable energy sources, implementing regenerative agricultural practices, and adopting circular economic models that prioritize resource conservation and waste reduction. Overall, creating new systems of exchange will require a collective effort from many individuals and communities. It will require a willingness to challenge existing power structures and prioritize the well-being of all members of our community. However, by working together and staying committed to our shared vision of a more equitable, sustainable, and just future, we can create new systems of exchange that prioritize the collective good over individual gain. Ensuring equitable access to resources. One of the key principles of a post-money society is the idea that all members of the community should have equitable access to resources and services. This requires challenging existing structures of inequality and ensuring that everyone has the resources they need to live a dignified life. One potential way to ensure equitable access is through the implementation of a universal basic income. UBI is a system in which all members of society receive a guaranteed income from the government regardless of their employment status. This can help to reduce poverty, increase financial security, and provide a basic level of economic security for all members of society. Another potential way to ensure equitable access is through the provision of universal basic services. UBS is a system in which all members of society have access to essential services such as healthcare, education, and housing, regardless of their ability to pay. This can help ensure that everyone has access to the resources they need to thrive and can reduce inequalities in health, education, and housing. In addition to these policy solutions, it's important to ensure that everyone has access to the resources they need to participate fully in their communities. This could involve creating public spaces that are accessible to everyone, ensuring that public transportation is affordable and accessible, and promoting the development of community gardens and other shared resources. Overall, ensuring equitable access will require a commitment to challenging existing structures of inequality and creating new systems of resource distribution that prioritize the needs of all members of our community. By working together and staying committed to our shared vision of a more equitable, sustainable, and just future, we can ensure that everyone has access to the resources they need to thrive. UBS or UBI, which is better? A Universal Basic Services, or UBS system, provides universal access to essential services such as healthcare, education, housing, and transportation. This is different from a Universal Basic Income, or UBI system, which provides a regular cash payment to individuals regardless of their employment status. One of the primary benefits of a UBS system is that it ensures everyone has access to the essential services they need to live a dignified life. This can help reduce poverty and inequality, as well as promote greater social cohesion. Additionally, a UBS system can help address market failures by ensuring that basic services are not subject to the same profit-driven dynamics as private industries. However, a UBS system may face challenges in terms of funding and implementation. Providing universal access to essential services can be expensive, and governments may struggle to find the necessary resources to fully fund a UBS system. Additionally, delivering essential services can be complex and require significant coordination and investment in infrastructure and human resources. On the other hand, A UBI system provides individuals with greater flexibility and autonomy to make decisions about how they use their resources. This can help reduce poverty and inequality, as well as promote greater economic freedom and entrepreneurship. Additionally, a UBI system may be easier to implement and administer than a UBS system, as it does not require the same level of coordination and investment in infrastructure. However, a UBI system may not address the same systemic issues as a UBS system. While a UBI can provide individuals with greater financial stability and freedom, it may not ensure universal access to essential services or address market failures in the same way as a UBS system. Additionally, a UBI may not be sufficient to address the needs of individuals with higher levels of need, such as those with disabilities or chronic health conditions. In my opinion, both UBS and UBI systems have their merits, and which one is better depends on the specific context and goals of a society. Ultimately, a more comprehensive approach may involve elements of both UBS and UBI, as well as other policies and programs aimed at promoting a greater equity and sustainability. A society that provides universal access to essential services while also ensuring financial stability and autonomy for all individuals would be a society that truly works for everyone. The caveat, of course, is that you can't be a crappy individual. You've got to be a member of society. The argument with the UBI is that it's inflationary. It's only inflationary because people get greedy and see one person with money and want it to give them less in return. The point of this entire thing is that we have to change that whole mindset. We have to become a world player. We have to become part of the community. We have to realize that we're all in this together. Until that happens, nothing's going to help and society's going to collapse. Reducing resistance to change. It's difficult to predict exactly how billionaires would react to the transition to a post-money society, as their reactions would likely depend on the specific policies and structures put in place. However, it's reasonable to expect that some billionaires may resist such a transition, particularly if it involves significant changes to the economic and political systems that have allowed them to accumulate vast amounts of wealth and power. On the other hand, some billionaires may see the benefits of a post-money society and be willing to support it. For example, some billionaires have already expressed support for policies such as a wealth tax or higher taxes on the wealthy, indicating a willingness to consider alternative economic models that prioritize social and environmental goals over profit. Ultimately, the transition to a post-money society would require significant political will and public support, as well as careful consideration of the needs and interests of all stakeholders, including billionaires. While some billionaires may resist such a transition, it is important to remember that the goals of a post-money society is not to punish or exclude anyone, but rather to create a more equitable and sustainable future for all people and the planet. Moving towards a post-money society will undoubtedly face resistance from various actors, including those who benefit from the current economic system and those who are skeptical of new ideas. To overcome this resistance, it's important to address the concerns of those who may feel threatened by a shift away from the current economic system, and to build coalitions of support for a post-money future. One potential way to reduce resistance is by focusing on tangible benefits of a post-money society. This could involve highlighting the ways in which a post-money society could improve people's quality of life, promote environmental sustainability, and reduce economic inequality. By demonstrating the benefits of a post-money society, it may be possible to win over individuals who are initially skeptical and resistant to the idea. Another potential way to reduce resistance is by engaging with existing power structures and institutions. This could involve working with policymakers and community leaders to develop policies and programs to promote a more equitable and sustainable future. By engaging with those in positions of power, it may be possible to create a more supportive environment for a post-money society to take root. Finally, it's important to build coalitions of support for a post-money future. This could involve working with other individuals and organizations that share a similar vision and collaborating on initiatives that promote a more equitable and sustainable future. By building a broad coalition of support, it may be possible to create a groundswell of momentum for a post-money future that is difficult for opponents to resist. Overall, reducing resistance to a post-money future will require a combination of strategic communication, engagement with existing power structures, and building coalitions of support. By staying committed to our shared vision of a more equitable, sustainable, and just future, we can overcome resistance and create a world that works for everyone. Moving towards a post-money society will require a combination of cultural shifts, technological innovations, and the development of new economic systems. Here are some potential pathways to a post-money future. Changing cultural norms to prioritize sharing, cooperation, and community building. Addressing power imbalances in our current economic system through policies and programs that promote greater economic equality and democratic decision-making. Creating new economic systems that prioritize sustainability, equity, and social justice. Ensuring equitable access to resources and opportunities for all individuals and communities. Reducing resistance to a post-money future by highlighting the benefits of a more equitable and sustainable economic system, engaging with existing power structures and institutions, and building coalitions of support. While the road to a post-money society may be challenging, the potential benefits make it a compelling vision for the future. By working together and remaining committed to a more equitable and sustainable future, we can create a world that works for everyone. While these challenges may seem daunting, it's important to remember that moving towards a post-money society is a long-term process that will require collective effort of many individuals and communities. By working together and staying committed to our shared vision of a more equitable and sustainable future, we can overcome these challenges and create a world that works for everyone. A post-money society has the potential to bring about a wide range of benefits, including a more equitable society, reduced environmental degradation, and a more creative and innovative society. However, moving towards a post-money society would also be accompanied by significant challenges, including changing cultural norms and values, addressing power imbalances, creating new systems of exchange, ensuring equitable access to resources, and reducing resistance to change. One potential path towards a post-money society is through the rise of the sharing economy, where resources are shared and exchanged based on need rather than purchasing power. Another potential path is through the development of new technologies, such as blockchain and 3D printing, which could enable more efficient and equitable distribution of resources. To move towards a post-money society, we would need to address these challenges and work towards creating a more equitable and sustainable economic system. This would require a collective effort of many individuals and communities, as well as a commitment to prioritizing the collective good over individual gain. While the road to a post-money society may be long and challenging, it is an important goal to work towards if we want to create a more just and sustainable world. By staying committed to this vision and working together, we can build a world that works for everyone, where resources are shared equitably and everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you found this video informative and thought-provoking. This is the point at which others tell you, if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel for more content just like this. But as we all know, that kind of thing is for losers. Don't be a loser. As always, I welcome your feedback and ideas for future videos in the comments section below. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep embracing your inner nude, dude.